Alright, so we are back for another review, and today we have a really exciting IEM. This is the C Audio Yume. And it's been a while since I wanted to check this out because from what I am seeing, the signature, the tuning is really nice on this. And actually from the title of this video, I think they were able to do it. But actually because of that, this might not be for everybody, and we're gonna find out why in this video. Of course, big thanks to C Audio and also Fengru for sending this over. Links down below for their shop. So actually, this is one of the bigger boxes here in this channel. So you have 1DD and also 2BA configuration. Opening it up, and this is gonna be your unboxing experience. There you go. C Audio, see through your ears. Opening it up. So inside, you're getting a case and some manuals as well. So you're getting manuals, maybe a sticker as well. So that's something that I can use. Additional stickers. First time that I'm seeing something like this from an unboxing experience, and additional manuals as well. And you're getting a case as well, and the case is similar to maybe TRN cases. Has metal in build and feels really good in the hand. And you're getting this C Audio as well. I'm not sure if this is their logo, but I can see it from their character here. So maybe it is, maybe their mascot. Opening it up. So inside, you're getting that cable, and the cable maybe reminds me of the Fail cable. So this does feel good in the hand, and yeah, you're getting the 2-pin connector as well. The preforming as well is not that seen. So this is the nicer preforming for me. We're also getting a straight plug at the top. So you're getting a lot of tips as well. Inside, you're getting silicone tips and also foam tips as well. Alright, so looking at the IEM itself, it's green in color, and yeah, it's dark green actually. And you're getting that resin plastic build, and actually it's pretty light. So I was actually surprised on how light this is. And also in terms of the shape, it's a custom IEM shape, but this actually maybe the smaller lobes here, so it's not that big for me, but it does have some fins, and the fins is quite prominent as well. And you're getting also some bulges here as well, so this might fit really well on the ear. And because it's not that big, so it might be still comfortable to wear on the ear. So you're getting that Yume at the side, and getting that logo as well. And it does go inside the ear as well. But yeah, maybe not the deepest that I have seen here. But yeah, it's really light and feels good in the hand. So maybe it's not the most premium build that I have felt, like maybe the T5s. Those have more premium build compared to this, but it's not bad overall. It's I would say functional in terms of the build. It's a safe build overall. So I would say a lot of people will just pick this up and be okay with the shape overall. So I would say it's the safer shape for me. Alright, so we have the cables in, and actually something to consider, guys. So the insertion of the 2-pin connector is one of maybe the stiffest that I have tried. So it takes a bit of force to put your 2-pin connector in. So that's something to consider, guys, especially if you're somebody who changes cables a lot. But it's really stable, so that's a plus. So the combination is just fine for me. I would actually prefer a darker cable compared to this. But I would say, yeah, I'm okay with the Fail-ish price range, but it is pretty safe. So for daily use, I don't have any major issues on this. So this is what it looks like on the ear, and it's actually not a big IEM on the ear. Does fit really well, so stability is really good on this. Comfort is actually fairly okay as well. In terms of isolation, this does isolate quite well as well, so above average as well. In terms of the look, for me, it's a typical IEM look, so it doesn't shout at you. It's actually a more expensive pair. So that might be a con and pro for you at the same time. So if you like a more understated design, this can work, but if you're into a more of a blingy design, something that looks more expensive on the ear, this might not fall to your liking. So build quality and wear on the ear, I don't have any deal breakers here. This is a pretty solid kit for me. Right now, let's move to the sound. So firstly, as you can see from the title, this is more of a reference pair for me. So the tuning is really good on this. But actually because of that, again, this might not be for everybody, because usually for reference pairs or for IEMs that's tuned like this, it can be boring to listen to. So actually this really reminds me of my K701s. This is the overall sound. So the K701s is also something that I use for some mixing, some monitoring as well, but it's not something that I particularly use for some music listening, for my casual listening. This is not the listen that I'm going for. And the C Audio Yume really reminds me of that. So it's more of a kind of a cold listen. So it's quite a boring listen. So actually this is more of a relaxed pair on the ear. This is not that aggressive to listen to. So actually for me, that might be a pro for you, and for some people that might be a con as well. But not that much recessed here. So for me, it can actually come across as neutral for some people. So looking at the signature, it's a very tame signature here. As you guys can see, we have a slight recession in the mids region, but just a touch. And you also have smooth highs as well on top, and you have that elevation at the sub-bass region. So from the bass region, you're getting a slight recession to around 1K. You're getting that first valley for your recession in the mids, and then it goes up to around 1.5K, and then after that it goes down to around 2.5K, but not that much again, and then it goes up to around 4 to 5K. It's an elevation but not really a peak, and then after that it goes down, but quite a rounded tuning here. I'm going to around 8K. And you have a very slight recession at around 8K, and then after that it goes up to around 10K. So you have air frequencies here, so it's well extended on top, and then after that it goes down. So you're not getting 12K, much like the star fields. So this is a bit more controlled on top, but you still have ample elevation at the top end. So looking at the signature, smooth highs here. You're not getting any peaks. This has less peaks compared to maybe your L4s, also less peaks compared to maybe your NF2s from NF Audio as well. So yeah, very level top here, and you still have ample sub-bass as well in the measurements. So yeah, one of the few that I've seen with this kind of signature. So for this kind of signatures, for me, this is something that you can use for some mixing. So very tame in terms of the overall signature. So it's balanced sounding for me. Smooth highs with some shimmer on top. Ample extension at the top, pretty deep sub-bass as well, which might be a touch mellow for my liking. Also clean and airy vocals. So this is more in the clean side of presentation. So the sound is more in the relaxed side of things. This is a non-fatiguing sound for me. Alright, so talking about the highs here, it's actually well extended on top. You have ample 10K at the top, so the extension is really good on this. Also smooth tuned as well, no major peaks here as you can see with other IEMs. And also because of that, this is a non-fatiguing listen for me. So if you listen to for a long listening session, you won't have an issue with this. But actually that kind of tuning, that kind of smooth top has a pro and con at the same time, because one con there is the transient is not that pronounced in this, maybe compared to your L4s, your other IEMs. So the detail perception for me is less so in this regard. Also another downside is even if you have that kind of smooth tuning on top, the cymbals here can still have some thinness for me in the cymbals. So like in You Not Me Dream Theater, so the cymbals is lacking a bit of body for me, and actually it can come across as unnatural to listen to because of that thin cymbals for me overall. So like in Let's Groove, Earth, Wind and Fire, so the starting cymbals has less body than what I would like overall, less weight than what I would like overall. So compared to let's say the Starfields has fuller body in the cymbals for me. So overall for me, for the highs, it's a love and hate thing. The tuning is nice, but yes, it has some cons that I'm expecting a bit more in this price range. So the mids is in the clean side of presentation here, so the vocals is more in the clean side as well of presentation. It's more of a bright vocal as well, which is something that I do like personally. So in the vocal presentation for me, actually I would like to have a bit more body in the vocal here. So this a touch thin for my liking. And also yes, the male vocals is a bit recessed than what I would like, maybe around 2 dB recessed than what I would like here. Actually for female vocals, it's spot on for me. So the positioning is really good for female vocals. It's just the male vocals that I have an issue with. The presentation is more in the tight side as well. I'm really speedy in the presentation. So for me, I'm more of a monitor type of vocal presentation in this. Speedy with some air as well. But yes, the presentation really aggressive to listen to. It's a bit more relaxed to the ear. So again, for long listening sessions, you will like the vocal presentation in this. So for me in the mids, not my favorite mids here. So if it has a bit of body for me, it might be a bit better for me. But yes, overall, into the way it's tuned, it's pretty good, but it's just the body that I have an issue with. So going to the bass is actually well controlled here. It's one of the more controlled basses that I have heard. It's quite fast in the mix, punchy, and no mid bass bleed as well. So I would say this is a monitor type of bass. So again, it's more in the relaxed side of presentation for me. Like, and that's what I like Bruno Mars. This is one of the few dynamic driver basses that can resolve that track without, for me, the bass here really reminds me of a BA type of bass. So it has that, properties in the bass here. But actually, my issue there is because it's that, type of bass, it's lacking a bit of weight for me. It's a bit mellow, a bit too mellow for my liking. Actually, for some people, you might find the bass light on this. So yeah, for me, I would like a bit more impact there, a bit more weight there, or maybe a touch bigger bass in the mix here. So it's a bit lacking for me in that regard. But yes, it might be a pro for some people because yeah, it's a very clean bass overall. Soundstage is above average. It's decent, but not the best that I've listened to. Imaging as well, average to above average. Especially in this price range, I'm kind of more. So the separation is really good on this. So it's kind of a clean presentation overall. So the separation is pretty black and white in this. So I can definitely use this for some mixing work. It's gonna be really nice on that. Detail is above average for me. Nothing to write home about. I'm not super detailed. Again, the transcend is not that well pronounced in the mix. So the detail perception as well is a bit less so in this regard. So this is not something that I will pick out if I want utmost detail in my life, but it's pretty decent. Alright, so comparing it to the Legacy 4, so the Legacy 4 has more pronounced transcends in the mix. More musical as well to listen to. So for me, yes, the Legacy 4 is more of a musical monitor. So the detail is better for me overall in the Legacy 4. The imaging and separation as well is better in the Legacy 4 as well. It's more fast in presentation. I like the vocal positioning and presentation as well in the Legacy 4. The bass weight as well is more pronounced for me in the Legacy 4 than the Yume. So the Yume is more relaxed sound on the ear, smoother top end, so less pronounced transients. A slightly bigger stage as well. Separation is less black and white for me. So slightly smoother in the Yume in the presentation overall. So these two actually in the ear has some similarities in the tuning. But the presentation is different on the ear. So the L4 is more musical to listen to, more pronounced transients, and for me more of a monitor type of listen, a bit tighter in the overall listen. So the Yume for me is a more relaxed listen, a more toned down listen, less bass response, and yeah, less of that transients. So it will be up to your preference here. So if you're gonna ask me subjectively, my personal preference, I will go to the L4. So I like the more defined bass there, a more black and white presentation for me, and more pronounced transients overall. So compared to the Starfields, so the Starfield is smoother in comparison, more pronounced bass, more weight as well, has some boom in the bass as well, more than your Yume. More lively of a listen for me, more engaging of a listen. Also fuller vocal as well in the Starfields, and I do like the positioning of the vocal as well in the Starfields, more so compared to the Yume. So the Yume in comparison has a more relaxed presentation to the ear. The Yume is also cleaner, tighter in presentation. Better separation as well, so more pronounced shimmer on top on the Yume. So that 10K, that splash on top is more pronounced in the Yume. Also, the bass is more controlled in the Yume, lighter in the Yume overall. So here in this warmth and also fuller body as well, more dynamic driver type of presentation, you might like the Starfields. If you like clean, relaxed, a bit more intimate in the overall listen, you might want to go to the Yume. So for my personal preference, I still prefer the Starfields. I like the fuller vocal presentation. This is closer to the Starsea, more so compared to the Legacy 4. So both of them have that kind of relaxed nature to the overall presentation. So the Starsea is bigger in the soundstage, slightly fuller body as well in the Starsea. The vocal for me is fuller in the Starsea. The Starsea is more musical compared to your Yume. The body of the cymbals is also fuller for me in the Starsea. The transients as well is more pronounced as well in the Starsea for me. And the separation is better for me in the Starsea because of that bigger stage. So compared to the Yume, so the thinness for me in the top in the Yume is a bit more pronounced in the mix. So that splash there, yeah, that's one of my major issues. Thinner presentation as well here, so it's cleaner overall. So actually this is you know, more relaxed to the ear, less fun, more boring in this Yume compared to the Star C. So the bass in the Yume is more toned down, a lot more relaxed in presentation, also more closed in stage for me, a bit more intimate, kind of pleasant for me in the Yume. So for this, it will depend on your preference. If you like a more lively, musical type of sound, you might want to go to the Star C. If you like a more relaxed sound, again, more reference type of sound, you might want to go to the Yume. So my personal preference for me, if I'm gonna choose one, it will be still the Star C. So I like the fuller vocal, bigger stage, and also a more bass weight as well. So let's try to close this thing. So for the C Audio Yume, I think this will be a love and hate thing for people. If you're already used to a reference sound, you know, a bit more cold sound, a bit more boring sound, like maybe what I have with the, you know, K701s. If you have a usage for this, you will like this. So like for me, for example, for the K701s, I use this as well. So for mixing, under around $150, this might be one of my go-tos because of the signature on this. But just on the other side, if you're not used to this kind of tuning, if you're used to more of a musical tuning, if you're used to bass, you will not like this. So it will be a love and hate thing. So like for me, for example, for the K701s, I don't use it at all for, you know, casual listening. So for casual listening, I do have other cans that I, you know, usually tend to go for. So it has a specific usage for me, but it will depend on you, because some people still like the K701s for some casual listening. So, you know, it will depend on the music that you're listening to. But of course, pros here, you have a clean sound, nice separation, great tuning. So one of the better tunings that I have seen, and also really controlled bass as well. So the separation is really good for some mixing work. You will really like this. But of course, in terms of cons, the top here still has some splashiness in the cymbals. The mids is lacking a bit of body for me. Also the bass lacking a bit of weight for me. But definitely, yes, if you like a more reference sound, a more, you know, boring sound on the ear, this might be something that you should have in your short list. Alright, so that's my take on the Yume. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next Z-Pulse review. Goodbye.